nice laugh, are you?
Australian legends!
Hey!
Sir, can you knock?
What's up, everyone? Adam from FWCI. This is Bruce Stew, lying to children. Tread lightly when doing that, though, because I've told this story on here before, but I'll quickly whiz through it. When I was a kid, my parents told me that this place that had piles of dirt had piles of salt and pepper, because some piles were white and some piles were darker. And I believed that until I was well into my 20s, and repeated it in front of a girl that I was dating at the time, and looked like a fool. Look like a damn fool. So make sure you're not setting your kids up to look like absolute morons later on in life. But sometimes lying to children, there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. I recently found out from my mum that she had these lovebirds that flew away one day. Oh man, they just got out of the cage and they flew away. And as kids, we're outside looking up, oh, where are they? Can we see them in the trees? And they were very bright colored birds. Where are they? Where are they? They died, and my mum just didn't want to say that they died. So she's like, whoops, look at that. The cage is open. I guess they flew away. We only found that out recently, and there was a cat that we had that ran away as well. That I think they had to go get it put down because it was quite rabid and feral. Only found that out recently as well. But let's see what childhood trauma Bruce Stew has had inflicted on him or inflicting on others as a parent. You never know. This is Bruce Stew, lying to children.
All right. So you guys know how, sometimes you'll lie to children for your own personal entertainment? No? You guys don't do that? Come on, you guys lie to kids, right? You never just, told an outright lie to a child just to see if they believe it or not? I'm not talking about anything crazy, all right? I'm not, going up to kids and being like, hey, your Aunt Carol's in the hospital. She's got rickets. Blah. No, I'm just talking about, stupid little harmless lies. For example, we have a gate in our backyard.
Alright, lying to kids for fun. I don't have kids, so maybe that's why. But I have nieces and nephews, and I'm sure I've done it because this really sounds like something that I would find enjoyable.
That kids, for whatever reason, cannot figure out how to open. I mean, it's just a simple latch up top that you pull up on, but children are just totally befuddled by this goddamn thing. So when they ask me how to open the gate, just to fuck with them, I tell them that they have to clap their hands. You know, like the old clapper lights from back in the day. Clap on, clap off. And they fucking do it every single time. Which is hilarious to me because they're just standing there clapping their hands, expecting this fucking gate to magically just pop open for them. I'll be sitting there in a lawn chair with a beer in my hand clap louder. The gates cannot hear you. You gotta clap like you mean it, goddammit. Hell, sometimes I'll make them clap and stomp their feet. You know, all We Will Rock You style and shit. They'll be over there yeah, that's it. Keep it going. Buddy, you're a boy making big boys playing in the street. Gonna be a big man someday. Now, personally, I think that's pretty funny. Maybe that's just me, but I don't see any harm in such a stupid...
I find it hilarious. It's not just you. If I had kids, definitely I would be doing this kind of stuff because that is pretty goddamn funny.
Little lie. And I do eventually go over there and open the gate. 45 minutes or so go by and the joke gets kind of old. Now that's just one example of me lying to children. A slightly more extreme case would be the time that I told my 6-year-old niece that kangaroos were not real. Now, this started off as a joke, of course, but when she started to believe the lie, well, I had no choice but to lean into it a little bit. We were at the playground one day, and I just walked up to her and was like, hey, kangaroos are bullshit, right? They're totally not real. What? Are you serious? Kangaroos aren't real? Yeah, no, they're totally made up. They're just old Australian folklore. They're like Bigfoot or the fucking Loch Ness Monster. But I saw a kangaroo at the zoo last summer. That was just a misshapen man in a costume. You can't believe that shit. Kangaroos are totally not real. And then just like that, she just scampered off, accepting the idea that kangaroos were indeed bullshit. They're make-believe. All of a sudden, I'm like, God damn, that was easy. What else could I get her little gullible ass to believe? Hey, those giraffes at the zoo? Well, those fuckers aren't real either. What? Giraffes are made up too? Now, this day, I have no idea what her opinion is on the reality of kangaroos and giraffes, but I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't cause a scene at her local zoo at one point. I'm on to you, you bullshit kangaroo! You can't fool me, goddammit! What the? Is this kid on fucking mescaline? What the hell's going on? Now,
just quickly, by the way, there is an Australian version of Bigfoot. It's called a bunyip, and he hangs out by the billabong, which has got nothing to do with weed. But I'm glad Tyler didn't go full-blown, oh my god, what the hell was that guy's name? I did a reaction to one of his videos where he thinks Australia isn't real. He sucks anyway. I'm not even going to say his name. I don't need to give him any more exposure than he already has. But for anybody out there wondering, yes, kangaroos are real. Yes, Australia is real. Bunyips might be real. The jury is still out.
Complete and utter bullshit, but, well, I may or may not have told her that Morgan Freeman was our 39th president, and I may or may not have photoshopped his ass on Mount Rushmore as proof. Hey, what are uncles for, all right? It's funny.
That's
Relax.
amazing.
She'll
That is
figure it out
great.
eventually. I mean, I hope she doesn't fucking do a social studies project of some sort at school. And after serving his time in the Shawshank State Prison, as well as working with fucking Batman, he became the president of the United States. The end. What the fuck? I think this kid's on mess.
I didn't realize there was a former US president that both served in Shawshank and worked with Batman. Well done, Morgan Freeman. What a resume.
Glenn, what do you think? Now you might be sitting there like, yeah, that's mean. You shouldn't lie to kids. That's fucking mean. Yeah, well, that may be so, but it's also
Nope, not what I'm thinking at all.
funny. So, I'm gonna keep doing it. And if you think I'm the only one that does it, well, my friend Cody is a lying piece of shit as well. Because you see, one day, he told his daughter that he was best friends with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Naturally, she didn't believe that shit, not one bit. So Cody calls me up shortly afterwards, and he's like, hey, I just lied to my kid's face about being friends with The Rock. I need you to Photoshop a picture of us together. Now, I am not a Photoshop expert whatsoever, but I did manage to put Morgan Freeman's ass on Mount Rushmore, as you've already seen. I'm not
good.
great at
Looks
Photoshop,
good.
but I'm certainly good enough to lie to children with it, I can tell you that. I've used Photoshop to lie to many a child in my day. I've told
Really?
kids that I've played for the fucking San Francisco 49ers. I've told kids that Brewer was at Iwo Jima. Hell, this is me lying to my nephew in real time about a supposed dinosaur that I saw at the fucking park one day.
Can't believe my eye.
I couldn't either, dude. I seen that dinosaur come up to that truck, and I took that picture. I ran in there. It was totally real.
So within 15 minutes of that phone call,
It's totally real. I need to get better at Photoshop, clearly, because that does look like fun.
I find a picture of The Rock and Vin Diesel embracing, and I plop Cody's stupid face on there, no problem. Well, of course, this does the trick. This is irrefutable evidence to a child that's unaware of what the hell Photoshop is. Holy hell, Dad! I thought you were just being a lying piece of shit this whole time. Yeah, well, I wasn't, so I guess your little ass owes me an apology. Now, it's important to note that this was 2 years ago, and she still believes that her dad is besties with The Rock. Well, at this point, she calls him fucking Uncle Rock, for Christ's sake. Is Uncle Rock coming to Thanksgiving dinner this year? No, I don't know. He's pretty busy being...
Look how stressed out Cody is now. He's like, I don't know how to get out of this.
the Rock and all that. So we're just gonna ride this wave as long as we can, and maybe when his daughter's like, I don't know, 22 or 23, we'll sit her down and tell her the truth. What do you mean you're not fucking friends with The Rock? Are you serious? What's next? You're gonna tell me that you weren't really a part of the Bee Gees? Yeah, about that. We wanted to talk about that too. So if you're sitting there watching this and you're pretty bored with your life, well, why don't you go fucking lie to a kid? Why not? It's a lot of fun. You could go tell him that you're best friends with, I don't know, fucking David Schwimmer from Friends. Then you can go hire a graphic designer to Photoshop your ass in a picture, and then you yourself can enjoy the fine art of lying to children for fun. The end.
Brewster.com.
Amazing video. I have absolutely no judgment on any of that whatsoever. That was absolutely hilariously innocent, ball-busting, and I'm here for it. What this does remind me of, this was something that I did a couple of times to a couple of different friends, and this was before trolling became like a thing that people just did online all the time. The way that I worded it in my head was like, I'm gonna try and convince my friend of something that they are certain is definitely true. I'm going to try and convince them that it's not true. The first one was minties. If you don't know what these are, they're like little mint, but I don't know what you call them in America or in the UK, but these things are just like a glob of like C4 explosive textured kind of stuff. You put it in your mouth, you have to like chew the fuck out of it, and then eventually it wears down and it becomes very, very chewy and very, very minty. And once it gets to that point, it's actually pretty good, but early days of the minty are not good. My mate was trying to tell me about like minties, and he's like, oh, minties. And I was like, what's a minty? Kept mispronouncing it, asking him to spell it. And once you get the person to the point where they're now trying to physically describe something, you've kind of got them on the hook at that point, because then you can just pretend to misunderstand every single thing about it. And minties are, like I say, me trying to describe what they are, they're just a glob of, I called it C4. It's just, what the fuck? That's all it is. Glucose syrup, cane sugar, gelatin, peppermint oil, vegetable oils, and that's it. It's just a blob of that. My mate's trying to describe this. He's like, it's like a white sort of square, and like, it's really hard, but it gets really chewy. And I'm like, well, what the fuck is it? Is it hard or is it chewy? Explain yourself properly, man. And then he's getting frustrated because I'm getting like annoyed at him, but it's also one of those things that it's really hard to describe what a minty is. Like, I really didn't think that through before I started telling the story. The other things I did it with, I convinced a girl that I was dating that I'd never heard of pool, or 8-ball is what I actually do call it. But she's like, oh, we'll go play some pool. And I'm like, oh, it's a bit cold to go swimming, I reckon. She's like, no, like pool. I'm like, what do you mean pool? The game with the green table where you hit the white ball. I'm like a golf sort of game. It's beautiful watching the person go from like, I don't believe you, I don't know what this fucking stupid joke is that you're playing, to, no, it's the game where there's like 6 pockets and like 10 balls on it, and when they start explaining it, you know you've got them. You hit it with a stick like this, and like, show me how this works, because I don't know, you have to lean over a table and then hit a ball with a stick. Fun fact and word of warning about that, the person that I was dating, like, the next day tried to do the exact same thing to me, because I told her it was a joke at the end. I'm just kidding, blah, 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 this is a joke. Next day, she tried to do it to me, and I saw right through it, and it drove a massive wedge between us, and it's what led to us breaking up, ultimately, to be honest. We were only together for, like, a month, sort of thing. It didn't last long, but it was the part of the thing that made us go, like, ugh. And the last one was Cold Rock, or I don't know what you call it in the States. It's the place where you get ice cream and they like mash stuff into it, like chocolates and lollies and stuff like that on this like refrigerated bench top. And again, random friend walked right into it. What's Cold Rock? I've never heard of this before. He starts trying to explain it to me. I'm like, so wait a minute, how is the bench refrigerated if it's just out in the open? And just asking dumb questions like that reeled him in. Actually, that one went for a long time. He was adamant about explaining to me what this shit was. In fact, I think he won that little encounter because I'm the one that tapped out. I was like, I'm just joking. But let me know in the comments your favorite story about intentionally lying to somebody, as long as it's for fun. Again, if you're lying to somebody about something that's like really serious or traumatic and stuff like that, that's not cool. Stop doing that shit. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to support the channel further, go to patreon.com/FWCI. And if you want to support Bruce Jew further, go to patreon.com/BruceJew. And as always, everyone, be well, stay safe, look after your friends. See you in the next video. Peace.